see Vinco being particularly quiet soon enough. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does, but I'm just something that's always been kind of, and if you look at the last month or the last month and a half, retail confidence has dropped drastically, and I can feel that daily just on the retail space on Twitter, and I'm hoping with yourself investing into the company and being a shareholder moving forward that having skin in the game, we can, you can stand with us and hopefully push for more communication and transparency.
I mean, I think that Vinco management, I think knows that they can't be uncommunicative. I think that's clear. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear a lot more from them. As you see, I think they hired a spokesperson on all that front, and then again, communication plus action. I don't see how they don't do that in the future, or much more in the future.
It's just kind of, somebody just sent this across my way. I don't know if you can answer this, Eric, but does management also understand, there's a guy in the community, I think his name is Electronomics, he posts some great DD and technical analysis. Do they understand how important this next options chain coming in, like if they truly want to be on shareholders' side, like if they truly are turning a page, like they got to get things, we get press releases, because we have an amazing options chain coming up in January. It's unbelievably loaded, and it could really help the price get up. It really can. And are they aware of it? I mean, that's something that just came across. Somebody just asked me. It's a really good question.
I don't know one way or the other if they're aware of it. Maybe they are, and it's their entire focus, or one of their top focuses. I don't know on that question. I wish I could answer that.
I kind of figured you couldn't answer that, Eric. I just figured I'd ask it because it's a good question.
Eric, would you be willing to bring speakers up?
I've invited some speakers. I don't know if it's working. I invited Hugh. If I'm saying that, I invited Skycam, and all of that. I think my first space call I did was 3 hours. This isn't going to be a 3-hour Twitter space call. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to take a few more questions here, and then kind of say kind of my final thing on the space call. And then I think if I'm gonna see if I end it, if the space stays alive with the co-host, and if it does not, then I guess it does not. But yeah, I'm happy to take a few more questions here, but again, it's not going to be 3 hours. As much as I wish I had the time.
Thank you, Eric.
Hi, Eddie. How are you?
Oh, hey, the man, the myth, the legend. How's it going?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm buying more shares every week. Let me ask one question, Eddie. Do you think, as a businessman, do you not think they have a lot of conflict of interest between Ted and all these people they come into the company, and at the end we don't know how much money they get from such, from being Covature and to such, and they never report anything, or they never put anything how they did the deal to buy from Binco to buy such? We wanted to know where is all the money go, or something about that money, about what Ted has been doing with the money, with the financial, why we wanted to dilute again the shares. I wanted to ask you like a really hard question. I don't want it to be like, yeah, you're going to be part of us, but when you're going to be part of us, you're going to start suffering what we have been talking long time ago, that they not say anything, and then later we can see how we spend so much money and money for you, or in a lot of access, they at the end know what's profitable, and they spend all that money. And we lend the money like we are a bank, and we never get anything back. I wanted to hear what is your opinion about that, about what State was doing all
It's cutting in and out. But I think I did get the gist of it. And thank you, my friend. It's a totally fair question. From my understanding, Vinco and Zash were, for the most part, always going to merge. And not that I say I backed this, but I think this was 2 years ago. So I don't even, if I understand the story of Vinco Ventures and Zash correctly, is that both were always set to merge, and both were both were set to merge, and then there was kind of money exchanges involved in that because they were set to merge, and now they're merging. So I think if you want to kind of ask for like an accounting, I think an accounting would be great, a public accounting of things. I think that always settles things, but that's just kind of me riffing, I guess, as a shareholder now. But from my understanding, that is they were always kind of set to merge, and that was the plan. And I think that's what, to some extent, maybe yes, maybe not, was kind of desirable to merge. And again, I'm not here to like defend. I'm not here to like defend or promote a merger or anything. Sorry. But I think that's my understanding of the story of Vinco Ventures and Zash. And I think that in my opinion, it's important for those assets to kind of combine into one. And if you disagree with it, hey, I think people can find the board's emails. And the board's Twitter accounts, and talk to this, also this new spokesperson as well, and let your voice be heard. I'm going to let my voice be heard.
No, what I was trying to ask is,
report. But I think I feel like these past couple weeks have kind of been the point of forcing them to get stuff done. And I kind of joked with people, operation, get stuff done. And then that was, I think a lot of stuff is you saw, the merger announcement was a part of that, but I think that we put the appropriate amount of pressure on them to get stuff done, and I think not just on the CEO and president, but also the board as well. I think that was really important, and I think I'm choosing to go and buy Vinco Venture stock because I believe that they will get stuff done. I believe that this past couple weeks has forced their hands to get stuff done. And, and that's why I started off with, some exciting, fun music on that stuff in order, because I feel hopeful and optimistic that the stuff got done. I mean, I have staked a lot on making sure that this company is successful. And I'm now putting my money where my mouth is, in that I believe that this company will be successful. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. And I will take 3 more questions, by the way. I do not have a ton of time. I will take one from Skycam, and then Winter and Wall Street, I will let you choose. Magic Site, I will take one from you, and then it'll be Russian roulette on who's the third person.
All right, what's going on, my friend?
How's it going?
Going well. Grounded over here. Good to hear from you. So, my question is more around visibility just into compliance. I know you probably were going to get a question around Q2 and Q3 specifically. And because prior to acquisition, I'm sure as CEO of Zash, you have visibility into financials, right? Being that it was a joint venture. In your opinion, it's been, how long has it been, Eric, since you've been out of there now? like a couple weeks, right?
Could you repeat that last sentence there?
You left what, 2 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks? I can't even remember how long ago it was now.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Either way.
What was the exact question?
So specifically around compliance in Q2 and Q3 earnings, because ZVV, pre-acquisition of course, has financial insight to the Vinco Venture side of things, being that you're the CEO, Zach, in your opinion, now that you've left, what has been some of the delays? If you can disclose some of that.
I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose, and I know that answer makes people unhappy, but, you know, I mean, I think a lot of the delays have been publicly viewable,
Sure.
you know, to say the least. I think the Colucci thing was the biggest delay on that front, and I think that was kind of the main one, and then kind of a little bit of the fallout from that caused some delays, and you know, I mean, you look at a company of people, I mean, it's you know, that obviously puts stress on people and amongst all, not just people at the company, but yeah, I mean, that was kind of what, in my opinion, slowed everything down, and I think people can see that it did slow things down. I think Vinco was operating, you know, was not missing deadlines, and was being on deadlines on time, and until the Colucci stuff, and then, you know, the Colucci stuff and the fallout from the Colucci stuff is now over, and then now that's why, again, I'm putting my money where my mouth is and buying up Vinco stock.
Sure. Well, happy to have you, my man. And then the last quick question would be, surprised that you don't have some level of leadership position, frankly, going into this call. You know, I know you would have been a voice for retail if given the opportunity. So if offered a role of some kind, I don't know, CMO, some type of operational type role, whether that be in product, what have you, right? I worked for LinkedIn for the last 4 years, so whatever those departments may be.
That's amazing.
Yeah, great company. Would you take it? Would you take that opportunity?
My goal is I just want to be a shareholder.
Cool.
At this point, I think that's my goal, and honestly, you know, people in this community, like yourself, you know, I believe Vinco has job openings. I think people like yourself should apply. You know, I'm happy to put in a good word for you on that front, and anyone else that, you know, is from this community that wants to apply for jobs at Vinco. And I think that I think they're focused on their hiring on that front. And I think there's I think temporarily hiring freeze, but I think that there's still job applications you can apply for, and I'd be happy to put a good word in for you and anyone else in the community.
Thanks, Erik. Appreciate your time, man.
Cool, no worries. Magic Site?
How you doing, my man? We finally buried the hatchet, eh?
Yes. All good on my front. It was fun DMing you earlier.
Oh man, you know, I feel bad for the razzing of you in the past, but I'm glad we shook hands. It's awesome to be on your team here. I gotta ask you, maybe, I guess it's not a sensitive question. It's 2 questions, depending on how you answer the first one, because you know I'm trying to trap you.
No worries.
First question. How much faith do you have in the accuracy of the original investor prospectus from Vinco and the one from Cryptide? Do you have a lot of faith in how accurate they are, or none?
I have faith. I have faith that they are accurate. In my opinion, in my belief, you know, I have to preface it with that. But no, I think they are accurate. Yes.
That is interesting. Now, the next one. Would you state that your relationship to developers in the Lomotive side, and I will name Nexus Holdings because they are in prospectus, is it a good relationship?
You know, I don't really want to comment on my relationship with the developers over at Lomotive. You know, I will publicly say, yeah, I think they're fine. You know, that's my public kind of statement on that, and I also don't want to, you know, bring up kind of Vinco employees Like, it's fine to talk about management, right? But I don't want to bring up Vinco employees and kind of, kind of shout them out in any way, because people find their Twitter accounts and their LinkedIn's and all that shit. So.
Oh, I would never want that. No, I just like getting to the source of growth, because as much as there's one side of investors that really look forward to financial disclosures and getting to the bottom of, there's definitely was some corruption in the past to sort out. I'm always leaning on the side of, I like looking at the future and the growth. And I mean, when I look at AI, and I know you're deeply embedded in AI, how excited are you for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is one of the best. The most. I mean, it's incredible how fast AI technology has gone on recently, and the ability to kind of use that for, particularly like video apps like Lomotive. I mean, is incredible. I mean, imagine being able to just type, and a video gets created that is, looks like real life. I mean, it looks like Avatar too. I mean, that's incredible. And just be able to type that out. I mean, that's what you're looking at as the future for these type of apps on that front.
So basically, you'd be saying that you'd be absolutely stoked to see some 3D immersive experience finally launching with Lomo and get Lomo USA going and really, really ramp up the efforts.
I am one of the biggest believers in Lomotive. I think this is the perfect time for Lomotive. I will continue loving Lomotive on that front. I mean, I think it's I think Lomotive is it just has so much potential. And that was one of the things that we one of the most amazing things that, during my tenure as Ash CEO, that I kind of wanted to work on the most, and what I witnessed was great, and, added my feedback to, and then I was making docs of what you guys' feedback was on that front, and kind of sending that to them. So, I mean, it's incredible. Some of that got fixed, and I think I hope to see more of that stuff get fixed and addressed. I mean, it's amazing. So, but yeah, no, thank you, Magic Site. Those are all great questions. I will take one last question.
Finn, not really a question.
One last question.
Sorry, man.
I think Wall Street Custodian, you wanted me to.
I'm getting so many questions asked, and I brought some people up. I tried to, guys, I just want to say thanks to Erik too, because the original plan was no co-host, then we convinced him to have some people, and now he wound up staying and chatting. So I do appreciate, Erik, that you did that. This is unexpected, and I respect you for it. You got some tough questions coming too, but here's one that I'm curious about, and I saw two people ask it to me. Are you going to be helping? Because listen, Lomo needs work, and I'm going to assume that they know they got to fix this thing to get this thing cranking to compete with TikTok and take our share of the pie. As a shareholder now, are you going to help us get Lomo everywhere with all your connections you have? You have some big connections, Are you going to help us get that blasted out everywhere? That's
to any journalist, and I talked about this with people. I said my journalist my journalist contact book is totally yours if you want to ever use it, if you ever want to need it. I have people in mind on that front. When I was Ash CEO, I had a ton of people in mind on that front, and that my total and complete address book in regards to contacting journalists. I mean, you look at it recently, TikTok has been spying on Forbes journalists. I mean, it's horrible, and accessing their data. I mean, this is the time for Lomotive. So my address book for Lomotive is completely open when I'm on. When I'm even just doing, let's say I'm doing an interview about anything else, I will plug Lomotive. I love Lomotive. That is my favorite, I'd say, asset of this company. I absolutely love it, and again, that's the biggest. I don't think without Lomotive I would be, putting my putting skin in the game into this company, and have cared so much about this company. I mean, AdRiser is great, all the other assets are great, but obviously you sometimes have a favorite child, even if you don't want to admit it. And Lomotive is absolutely my most favorite asset of Vinco Ventures. And thank you so much for asking that question. I will wrap up now. It has been quite the ride, everybody.
Erik, can you take another question?